I would like to introduce you Dr. Julian Evans, Associate Professor of Marine Biology at the University of Malta, recently designated by the Environment Authority of Malta to implement the monitoring program for marine alien species in Malta for the Marine Strategy Framework Directive and other EU nature directives. Julian, welcome to our GuardIAS video. Could you please describe the monitoring methodologies you are employing and their frequency?
Yes, sure. To start with, I would like to clarify that what the Environment Authority has done is to try to streamline monitoring processes. So, for example, when it comes to benthic invertebrates, this is a component that is monitored under the Water Framework Directive, under Descriptor 1 of the Marine Strategy Framework Directive. So it is not included again under the Descriptor 2, because the idea is that the data will be available from the other monitoring that is already being carried out for other components. So specifically for Descriptor 2, the monitoring program is focusing on those aspects that are not covered by other monitoring programs, and that is mainly the hard bottom communities. What we'll be doing is monitoring in two separate environments: hotspots, which we consider to be areas where introductions are more likely, and those are the harbors and marinas. We have 4 sites covering the main harbors and marinas in Maltese Islands, and then there is a separate component which will cover marine protected areas, and we have 7 monitoring stations for marine protected areas. The methods we'll be using for hotspots is mainly rapid assessment surveys. So at each location we have 2 stations where surveys will be carried out by in situ diving. In the case of the marine protected areas, to the transect surveys, first looking at fish fauna and then separately looking at the benthic invertebrates, obviously focusing on megabenthics in this case, since it is mainly through visual observations. And there will be 3 transects per location.
I guess the execution of all these programs has to face multiple difficulties, starting with implementation of administrative and bureaucratic procedures. Which other challenges would you consider relevant?
The other difficulty has to do with taxonomic expertise. Malta is a small country. We have a limited number of scientists there, so we do not have local expertise on all groups. And for that, we will rely on collaborations with other experts from abroad to assist us.
So do you think, as a member of the academia, that the involvement of the scientific community in monitoring is important?
I think so, yes. It does not have to be the way we are going to try to do it now in Malta, where the researchers from the university are doing the actual monitoring. However, I think it is very important to include academics, perhaps as consultants, but also to consider the output of academia. And in Malta we do this, or at least the authority does this, because besides the outcome of the actual monitoring that is carried out through the Marine Strategy Framework Directive program, there are many other ongoing initiatives. There are citizen science initiatives initiated by academics. There is research which is carried out in the framework of other projects. And any data, any records that come out from those initiatives eventually are collated by the authority and they are included in their reporting. So it is a win-win, because that data exists already, might as well take it into consideration. And the monitoring that is carried out specifically for the MSFD is not limited in scope, but focuses on harbors and selected sites and MPAs, citizen science, the surveys of specific species which are known to be invasive and spreading, that is carried out through academic research, sometimes is more thorough. And so they complement each other.
One last question. Do you think that it is useful to update the current monitoring technologies with novel techniques such as robotics or eDNA?
I think it is definitely useful. It is always useful to update the monitoring program according to past experience and according to new technologies. This is the idea in Malta. For example, we have already made suggestions to include not new technologies but scraping surveys, at least in the harbors, because the rapid assessment surveys inevitably will miss the small stuff. The scraping will help to fill in that gap which exists in the current monitoring program as has been carried out so far. So going forward, that will be added too. We have adjust some of the sampling sites based on previous findings and to have a better spatial coverage, but including additional new emerging technologies. For example, eDNA is now being employed not to replace, but to add another dimension of monitoring. That would be extremely useful, and I think it would be of benefit to Malta to include such strategies going forward.
Thank you so much, Julian. This was all very insightful. In GuardIAS, we are indeed working on development of novel monitoring tools with new technologies. Keep following us if you want to know more. And don't miss our other interviewees, Dr. Mate Vázquez Luis from Spain and Dr. Victoria Poppleton from Ireland.